Hi everyone, my name is Norman and today I want to show you how to knit the 1x1 rib stitch. The 1x1 rib stitch creates a lovely elastic fabric that you can use to knit hems or for hats and all other places where you need a little bit of stretchiness in your fabric. It's very easy to knit, so perfect for beginners. At the end of this video, I'm also going to show you how to decrease stitches when knitting a 1x1 rib, the best bind off, and even share a little insider tip with you. So let's dive right into it. I prepared a little swatch for you here. The 1x1 rib is reversible, so the front looks exactly the same as the back. It almost looks a bit like stockinette stitch, and it also just involves knit and purl stitches. The repeat is knit 1, purl 1. So let's show you how to do that. You will need yarn, needles, and some scissors and a tapestry needle to weave in the tails after you've finished. First, cast on an even number of stitches. I'll show you how to knit the 1x1 rib with an odd number of stitches in a second, but it's a bit more difficult, so try to stick to an even number. The standard long tail cast on is perfect for the rib stitch. So I cast on a couple of stitches here. Remember, the repeat was knit 1, purl 1. So we start with a knit stitch. The first stitch is a knit stitch, so we knit it. And now you have to bring the yarn to the front because the second stitch is a purl stitch and we purl it. I'll link you my tutorials for both stitches in the description below if you need to catch up. Okay, so we knitted one, we purled one, so the next stitch is a knit stitch again, so we knit it. And the next stitch is a purl stitch, so we purl it. And that's basically the repeat and everything there is about it. You just need to alternate knit and purl stitches over and over again until you reach the end of your row. I'm at the end of the row now, and the row will end with a purl stitch. And now you just have to bring your work around and start all over again. The first stitch is a knit stitch, then we purl again, and then we knit again. Once you knitted a couple of rows, you will start to see the pattern emerge. Now I told you always have to switch between knit and purl stitch, knit and purl stitch. A better way to describe the rib stitch might be alternate knit stitches and purl stitches on the first row and then knit every stitch the way they appear. Let's take a look. So this is a knit stitch. You can clearly see the little V here. So we knit it. And this is a purl stitch. You can see the little bump here. A purl stitch always has this little bump here. So we purl it. And the next stitch has this little V here again. So it's a knit stitch. So we knit it. And I feel this is much easier to remember and you really don't need to keep track. Was my last stitch a knit stitch or my purl stitch? You can just knit every stitch the way they appear. If there's a knit stitch, knit it. And if there's a purl stitch, purl it. So what happens if you cast on an odd number of stitches? Well, then you have to add a knit stitch as the last stitch on your first row and a purl stitch as your first stitch on your return way. Let me quickly show you how. So it's knit, purl, knit, purl. And here our standard repeat would be over. And now we have to add one knit stitch. Normally it ends with a purl stitch, but in this case we end with a knit stitch. And on the return row we purl this stitch and then we start with the standard repeat again, so knit, purl, and so on. And that's how you knit with an odd number of stitches. So some might wonder how to decrease stitches for a 1x1 rib pattern. And if you're knitting a hat or something, of course you want a nice little round tip. So let's show you how to do that. I feel the knit two together is the best decrease for the rib stitch. The only thing you have to remember is that you always start the decrease with a purl stitch. So we are here at the purl stitch, and next is a knit stitch, and then we just knit these two stitches together like this. And if you do it like this, the knit stitch will lie on top of the purl stitch, and it will appear like those two ridges converge together. Let's do it one more time. So we are again at the purl stitch, and the next is a knit stitch. So we knit these two together, and again the knit stitch will lie on top of the purl stitch, making this decrease almost invisible. At the end, I promised you one special tip, and here it comes, and it involves the cast on edge. First of all, I always cast on with 2 needles, because if you have a stretchy fabric, you want a stretchy cast on edge and not one that is very rigid. And by using 2 needles, you create a cast on edge that is quite a bit more stretchier. What you have to know is that when you perform the standard longtail cast on, you are actually casting on knit stitches. But the 1x1 rib is knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. So if you want an extra neat edge, you actually have to create knit and purl stitches, and I quickly show you how. So we have a slip knot here. This will be our knit stitch, and now the next would be a purl stitch, and instead of diving in from below, we grab the yarn from above, and that way you create a purl stitch. The next will be a knit stitch, so that's the standard method. The next will be a purl stitch again, so we grab the yarn from above, then from below, again from above, and that way you create purl and knit stitches. And let me show you quickly the result. So here we have a knit stitch, purl, knit, purl, and that way the cast on edge will be extra neat. This will be very, very nice if you're knitting socks or a hem where the cast on edge is extra visible. And that's it. That's all you have to know about the 1x1 rib stitch. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you want to see more from me, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Happy knitting!